Hey everyone, it's Clint. I'm way too busy. There's a lot going on right now. But this is worth talking about. And I don't know, it's indicative of a larger problem. Really, it really is. So Peter Smetty tweeted this out. I've been meaning to say something about this for a while, but again, there's just been a lot going on. He said, this isn't a retweet, he says, a year ago, a tweet filled with hurtful lies about this would have stressed me out. My heart would be pounding and I'd feel sick to my stomach. But today, it's just so incredibly boring. Just a little bit of background if you don't know about Alterna Comics and Peter Smetty. Peter Smetty is the publisher of Alterna Comics. And almost a year ago, he was attacked online. He was attacked. I don't really understand why, like what the rational reason for it was. Essentially, it was because he had a policy of for his creators that they shouldn't just use a block bot and block every single person that followed any kind of person that they disagreed with. And so in the world of comics, this has become all too often. It's just a really often occurrence. It's happening all the time. And so, yeah, last year, I know that Peter Smetty had a very difficult time. You can watch, he's still got a stream up. I'm probably not necessarily his, happiest moment to be remembered by, but he left the stream up. If you're interested in watching it, I think it's called State of Alterna. It was done, it's about September 2018. And so that gave a lot of insight into the problems that he went through. Now, it was shocking to me is that a lot of time has passed since then, and you would think that things have calmed down. You'd think that. But it's not always the case. There are random just target. I don't know why do people target Peter Smetty of all people? I don't understand this. It doesn't make sense. Like, there are actual, if you really wanted to fight Nazis, you really wanted to fight white supremacists, you could find them out there. You could find them. But instead of picking on someone like Peter, I just don't get it. Anyway, so, but this is sort of sheds light on a larger problem. So here we go. It says, hey, so a few folks have reached out to ask if I'll cover certain comics with publishers or creative teams tied to hate groups. Hate groups is a loaded word. I do not believe that Comicsgate is a hate group. Just like I don't believe that comics in general is a hate group. But there are actual hate groups out there. Like if this was a concern, you could do something about it again. Okay, so comicbookyeti.com is the site that does comic reviews. But comicbookyeti.com does not cover Alterna Comics or any comics that directly or indirectly attack minorities or marginalized voices. Forget the fact that Peter Smetty is actually, he's half Chinese and half Italian. I had to think about that one for a minute. Half Chinese, half Italian. That doesn't matter. None of that matters. And so if you're interested in getting on this particular website, you're going to be out of luck, and we're going to look at that website in a minute. Hold on, I just want to look at a few of these. Getting your comic publisher is hard. For those who can't leave the publisher for one reason or another but don't agree with their politics, I'm sorry. The Comic Book Yeti will not give platform to hate. Hate has enough of a platform already. Now, most publishers out there, this can go two ways, essentially. You could have a publisher that is really, really progressive, supposedly progressive, or they're into SJW politics, and they don't want any conservative creators or anyone that disagrees to be published there, or you have to be silent. We've heard of a lot of cases like this. I think much less of the time you're going to have some people that are the other way around. But, I'll give the benefit of the doubt. Let's say that does happen. You work for a really conservative publisher and you feel like you're silenced and you can't say much. Okay, whatever. That is not the same thing as hate. Hate is such a blanket term. All this bothers me so much. Okay, so this is why I immediately block any CGer, Comicsgater, or others who show up in my mentions or are rude and hateful to people I respect. I'm not here to be a spokesperson. I'm not here to debate them. I'm just too busy for their intolerant, privileged, toxic nonsense. Again, Peter Smetty, really conducts himself quite well on Twitter. I just don't get it. He really does. He conducts himself, better than most people I know on Twitter. So it is shocking. Okay, so here's the site. This, and I'm not saying, like, whatever. If you like to read this site, that's fine. It's fine. But it is the thermometer for how okay it is to get your book reviewed. And this discussion happened last night on my live stream, and I'll mention it a little bit here again. But YouTube has primarily been a really great place to advertise comics and get it out there and watch reviews of comics and all sorts of stuff like that. But websites like this they still have a place. I just think they still have a purpose. And so if all of these are closed to you because of your politics, or because someone's determined that you're too hateful, that you can't get a book reviewed. First off, I just wouldn't care to have my book reviewed here anyway. But there are other places that review books, and I think that they could be helpful if people are interested in single issue reviews. I don't really understand single issue reviews, honestly, because I'd rather, I don't know, maybe on a first issue, but watching or reading a review of every single issue from the same series, it's kind of like watching one of those Let's Play videos for video games, right? Where you're watching somebody else play the game and you're not playing the game. It's just like you're living vicariously through their experience. Maybe you like that kind of thing. I will say I kind of like the only Let's Plays I've ever watched that I've actually enjoyed were like horror games, because you kind of get the same experience anyway. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So Comic Book Roundup is one of those places that reviews comics. I have no idea what their stance is on crowdfunding comics or anything like that, but I do know that there's this site called SciFi For Me. I talked to Jason, he's a writer there, and we had a good conversation, and he is very open to reviewing comic books. And so I know there are others out there too, that are willing and they're fair and that kind of stuff, and at least they'll look and give a book a review. That can be really, really helpful to people that are looking to get their book out there, because really you want to hit every single angle that you possibly can. So why not? I'm trying to work on my ums. I say too many ums. I know that. I'm working on it, guys. Trust me, I'm working on it. So here's my book, Downcast. You can check this out. It's in the link in the description below. Right now, we are 50% finished with it, officially finished with the line art. We're well on the way with the colors, not much further behind on the colors. And we're also, letters are not that far away either. So really, this book is moving along. We're currently ahead of schedule, which makes me very, very happy. I still don't want to make any promises or anything like that with the date, but I will let you know we are working really, really hard and making a lot of great progress on this book. If you have not backed it yet, please do. I would love nothing more than to hit $30,000, and we're actually really close to hitting $29,000, which is a pretty great tipping point. So I do hope that we get there. Please, if you haven't subscribed, do so. Leave a like, all that good stuff. Thank you very much. Really, really appreciate everything, and let me know what you think about comic book reviews and Alterna comics. I don't want to forget this, but I don't know if you can see that or not. I just bought a whole bunch of Alterna comics. Why did I not say this? I wanted to do an unboxing video. Again, there's too much going on. I got the entire miniseries, a 3-issue miniseries of Blood Realm. It sounded really, really interesting. I've not read it yet, but I got it. I got an Alterna t-shirt. I got, Mother Russia and Scrimshaw. I read the first issue of Scrimshaw, and I dig it. The art is really interesting, but I went ahead and got both volumes of it, and looking forward to reading all of this. I would strongly suggest, Alterna gets blacklisted. They get a bad name that I don't think that they deserve, honestly. And so support Alterna. I support Alterna. They're doing a lot of things. They're being very proactive in making comics better, making the industry better, and they're doing things, I think, that help a lot of people out, including having these issues are $1.50, $1.50 for an issue. I know it kind of varies on how much issues cost depending on the length and all that kind of stuff. they're doing a lot of really, really cool stuff that's great for readers. So please do check out Alterna Comics as well. I think that's it. I think that's everything. Thank you very much. See you next time.